My name's Adele Onyango, and welcome to another episode of Legally Clueless. No, seriously, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Hey you, welcome to episode 350 of Legally Clueless. Thank you so much for being part of this family. As always, I'm so glad that you're here listening to these raw, unfiltered, and very real stories of Africans just navigating life. If you're an OG member, I appreciate you. If this is your first time listening, welcome to the family. And make sure you subscribe wherever it is that you're listening, because we have this show that goes out on Mondays. On Wednesdays, we have the Midweek Teas. Thursdays, we have For Mannerless Women. Fridays, we have Ask a Therapist. What also goes out on Wednesday is our newsletter, which is quite handy, if I do say so myself. For you who's on your healing journey, to sign up for it, go to legallycluelessafrica.com. A link is in the show notes. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, because in a couple of days, season 3 of For Mannerless Women comes your way. And it always drops first on YouTube. But all that aside, it's really awesome to have you here. Let's jump back to this episode. This week, you're going to meet Anne, who is an incredible storyteller, opening up about her journey through identity, acceptance, and faith. A lot comes up in her story, but one thread is definitely the painful realities of being labeled and isolated just for exploring her identity. Let's get into it. 100 African stories on Legally Clueless. Stories from Africa.
So hi, my name is Anne Kivili. I'm born again. I got to grow up in Kirinyaga since when I was, 2 years old, up until now. So that's basically where my lifestyle revolves mostly before I came to Nairobi. I studied in Sagana Primary School it's called Lower Sagana. There's upper and lower. I can't tell why my parents chose the lower one. But I was in Lower Sagana for 5 years after the preschool and all that. I also did that in Sagana. So from class 1 up until class 5, class 4 that is, I was in Lower Sagana. Then I went to Bishop Palo, a sister school, which I hated. I don't know who's been in a sister school and has enjoyed their experience. I'm yet to find one. Well, I didn't get to love being in a sister school because those sisters were so, let me just call it ruthless. They used to beat us. They used to be so rude and, oh my God. Well, to some level, I got to enjoy the fact that I was dancing there because I have been a dancer all my life since I was a very young baby. So in Bishop Palo, the only thing I think I remember enjoying was dancing. Apart from that, we used to have extreme, strict, teachers and sisters everywhere, from the dormitory to the catering, sports, in class, everywhere. They were so strict on us. So I didn't get to enjoy my stay at Bishop Palo. But then afterwards, I just did 1 year and then I requested to be transferred. And so my parents decided to take me far away from Kirinyaga. I went to, I don't know which county, but the school is called Karimwailu. It's on your way to Kibwezi. From Kirinyaga to Kibwezi. Those were the days we didn't have, thicker superhighway. So I used to travel from around 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the roads going to school with a bag, full of snacks and books and shopping. But it was such a great experience. And then afterwards, my parents decided they need me around. So once I was called to the sides of Rift Valley for my high school studies, they were like, no, let's bring you closer. So I was taken to Kahuhia Girls in Moranga. So now that's where I think my young adulthood began, because it was it was one trial after another, just testing and trying anything and everything. And I think that's where I got to get a feel of being a lesbian, because, well, it started when I was in class 3. That was the first time I kissed a girl out of curiosity. I mean, we keep on watching movies. What are these people doing? So myself and my best friend were like, let's try it out. I'm like, oh, okay. So after trying out, you get to have another moment to watch a movie together. You decide to kiss again. So I now I can't tell how many times we got to kiss, but well, we kissed again, I think in class 7, during the holidays and all that. But I never used to take it serious. So now in high school, at Kahuhia Girls, we decided to take it to another level. So I have a girlfriend, we are in a clique, and we decided these are the Tommies, these are the, femmes. I don't even remember the names we used to call them, but we used to have girlfriends now. All right, so now I'm in Kahuhia Girls. I'm in Form 1. We just started high school, and immediately, how we were positioned, I was a class cleaner. And, I got to choose a girlfriend from my fellow class cleaner. I think it's because most of the times we get to work together, to look out for each other. Maybe the teacher on duty is asking why this area is not clean, and then she steps in and cleans it for me, or I do it for her. So we got to become so close. And then now the best friend to my girlfriend also had another, now, boyfriend who was also a class cleaner. So I think we formed a group of lesbians within ourselves, like a support group, kinda, because we used to stand in for each other every other day. So we are in Form 1, we just started testing out things, and then in Form 2, we decided to make it, go higher to some other levels, and that's when I think now we got caught. So the management at Kahuhia Girls were really strict, and they decided to call us out. I remember that time, that's when we used to have Ocampo 6. I don't remember the year. But now in our school, our deputy, we used to nickname her Wamunye. And now us, we were 8. So we were Wamunye 8. So because every other time people are studying, it's, during at the prep time, Wamunye is there calling us to the office. She used to be called Mrs. Wamunju, but we used to call her Wamunye. So the Wamunye 8 were always outside during prep times. Either, we are having cases with her, either they're doing inspection in our boxes. I don't know what they were looking for. Luckily, well, not luckily, but yes, it's luckily because we never used to have objects in our dormitories or, lockers, boxes. No, we just used to, I think, love on each other, write notes to one another, do things for one another. The affection had not gone, to the extreme ends of being a lesbian. We were just, at the surface area where you're just showing each other love, writing notes to one another and all that. But now the management definitely thought there was something extra to that. So there's this particular week, they decided to get us grounded. We were not going to class. We used to be pinned at the playground. Everyone, a tree, like how many meters? 20 to 30 meters away from one another, everyone pinned on a tree. So you're going to stand there the whole day. Until your teacher comes, they used to give us particular teachers. Comes and picks you, goes with you to the dormitory, inspects you. They pick your... I remember we used to have these particular books. I don't remember what we used to call them, but we used to have a book for your friends. They write things about you, and then they either stick photos about you, like sweet memories that you've had together. And remember, we're in Form 2. So we don't have so much memories, but we are so open to, just doing life together. So we have a lot of experiences we've noted down on those notebooks. So they used to carry such things. They carry, let's say you're having earrings to wear during funkies and all that, a cute watch or a chain, like anything. They'll just feel like, I don't know. But well, the best thing about all this is the fact that they never got what they were looking for. Because I think they were looking for sex toys and things that, were going to stimulate now them giving us a G, because they wanted to send us away from the school totally, like completely. So that is me in Form 2, I think second term and first term. That it was just hectic. And something else that happened when I was in Form 2, Kahuhia, the teachers decided to strike continuously for like 3-4 months. We go back to school, they're striking. We go back again, they're just striking. We try, just taking a break from school for like a month, go back to school, they strike again. So the teachers decided that they were not going to teach. And what I loved about the area where we were schooling at, there were a lot of schools. So I remember this particular post from WhatsApp randomly during the holidays. Someone said, November 20-something, let's show them we can also strike. That was just a text from one of the students in a boys' school, I think. And then it circulated to the Moranga schools. I am telling you, on that day, the number of schools that were just passing outside our gate calling us, let's go, guys, it's time, today is the day. And we were like, no, we are not also remaining back. So that particular night, we also decided, let's move out. So it was exciting, just seeing us walk. If you know where Moranga is and where Kahuhia is, it's such a distance. It's like Roysambu and CBD. And it's all hill and valleys. Moranga is full of hills. So guys were able to walk from school to Moranga and then I'll pick matatus from there to their home places. And so that particular term was the last time I had in Kahuhia because my dad was like, I don't think this school is doing you justice. You need to transfer to a better school. And for me, I remember we already had notes to take to our parents about us being lesbians and them being needed to take us back to school after the schools had opened. So I was like, yes, let's just go. In fact, that school is the worst. In fact, I'm not even performing. I was performing poorly. I think I used to either become position 47 out of 50. The best I did was 46. Mind you, I've been an average student all my life, or topmost around, let's say, number 5 out of 30 in a class where, I performed very poorly when I was now in primary. But now in high school, position 40s were where I just used to, play around. And so I decided to back up the idea to have me transfer. So what happens before Anne Kiveli decides to get transferred was I had called my mom and told her there are some issues in school and that she might be called to school. But then she was like, I think my small brother at that time had a minor injury on the tongue. He just fell from a seat I don't remember the story, but he was very sick at that particular moment. So my mom was not concentrating because my small brother was really young. So she told me I'm going to give her the story once I go home because I was calling her from school. So I had hinted to them that I was going to be sent home, but I needed their support because it was an accusation being made. So I don't know if they remembered that point when they were deciding to transfer, but I think we did a lot of strikes happened. So that was it was no longer, any like something major for them to follow up through because, you're not going to be staying in that school any longer. So we don't need to get to understand what is happening. So when we were transferring, I don't remember going to the offices. I think my dad went. I don't know if they told him and he decided not to tell me, but my dad went and collected the transfer letter. I was asked to clear. I didn't have any other issues with any of the teachers, but I read a note. I don't know why I don't remember having issues with teachers, but I read a note that my big brother sent to me. I wrote it before transferring, that a lot of teachers were talking bad about me transferring, performing poorly, being a bad girl, like which school is going to accept you with all that. Well, I don't remember that, so I don't think it was a biggie back then, apart from the fact that I saw a letter that I just, wrote to myself back then. I think afterwards now I get transferred to a new school and everything is chilled, but I remember I took 2 days before getting my uniforms. So the first night I'm in a class and I get to appear on the noisemakers list. Mind you, I still don't have the uniform for that particular school. So when the noisemakers are being called by the deputy teacher, then she just spots me and she's like, young girl, you don't even have the uniform for this school and you're already making noise. What are you talking about? With who? Talking about... Anyway, so I think I got received in Kirigoya Girls. Now that was now my new school with some a particular image in their heads, because who appears in the newsmakers list within the first night in a new school? But I also don't understand why the class prefect wrote my name. I mean, I'm new. Just come and tell me, stop making noise, because you're going to appear on my list and you're going to be given punishment. So the following day, I'm there pushing wheelbarrows and carrying firewood, taking it to the kitchen, and I'm in a different uniform. So that rose an alarm. It ringed an alarm to a lot of the lecturers, the teachers in that school. They're like, you can't just be helping people carry wheelbarrows. You must have done something. I mean, carry firewood with wheelbarrow. Yeah, so that is how I got welcomed to Kirigoya Girls. And that was the beginning of my issues. Because now I had to repeat Form 2. Number one, when I went for the interview at Kirigoya Girls after leaving Kahuhia, there was no space in Form 3. And then my dad reminded me that I have not been performing. I was like, I can't go back to Kahuhia. Anything that has to take me away from Kahuhia, I'm for it. Let me just repeat Form 2. I'm okay. So now I repeat Form 2, and well, life in Kirigoya Girls was a bit flexible, because according to the history, Kahuhia is above Kirigoya Girls. Performance-wise, standard-wise, everything-wise, Kahuhia is above Kirigoya Girls. Just that Kirigoya Girls has hockey players. That's what I know Kirigoya Girls does different with Kahuhia, different from Kahuhia Girls. So, in Kirigoya, I'm now in Form 2 again. I have repeated, and I don't remember the class, but the name of the class, I don't remember how we used to name our classes, but I'm in this particular class that doesn't like me. Well, people just got a perspective about Anki Veli that they didn't like. I think it's because I was a tomboy. And in Kirigoya Girls, they really tried playing it low key. Like, there were no lesbian stories in Kirigoya Girls when I was joining. But I got to spot them. Because I was like, I know you are acting like one, you're one. There's this thing we used to call geda. Funny enough, it's in the dictionaries. Geda is the ability of a gay to be able to know another gay. So I go to Kirigoya Girls, they're not acting like it, but I can tell you're a lesbian. So I used to approach them and just maybe sweet talk them and just try act in a particular way around them, and then they give me a positive feedback and I'm like, thank you. I knew it. Next. So what I used to do is write notes to girls. So I'll find something that I like about you, and then I'll note it down on a paper, and then I'll ask you to meet me, and then I'll ask us to be friends and all that. So I used to enjoy it because I'd see you take the notes, because I'll slide it in your locker when you're not in. Then I watch from afar, I see the excitement, I see how you're surprised, and you're like, who is that? Who just wrote me this note? And then I don't remember ever having anyone who refused what I was asking. Like, let's be friends. And then when we are friends, I get now to, just be cheeky around you. And I remember some of the girls used to tell me what they want. Like, can you do this to me? Can you? We were just kids, because at Form 2 is when now your body now starts to demand a lot of, sexual desires, and you're having all kind of arousement, and you need someone to take care of it. And here's Anki Veli telling you, yeah, I can do it. Well, I used to do it well because I never got any complaint. And most of them used to come back and they're like, can we kiss again? Can you do this to me? And then, I think I was enjoying my life so much, and the fact that I have repeated Form 2, now teachers like me, because in class I can answer questions. Like I became a bright student in Kirigoya Girls. That's one thing I never got to understand what I did different, because you can't tell me in Kahuhia we'll do physics and I will, copy from a lot of people, and then I still get 2 out of 50. Like 2. What was I doing? And then now I'm in Keruguya Girls and I'm getting 40 something out of 50. I think the standards also matter. To some level, I got to appreciate how they do the classifications. The Kenyan way of doing classifications to take you from one school to another school by the government. Because I think for me, it was going to favor me if I went to the school that I was sent to. But my parents refused. So they took me to a school that they preferred. So this particular school that they preferred was high above my intellectual skills, or maybe I just don't know how to deal with such people, because a few months later I was in a new school, same class, and now I'm at the top of, well, not now position 1 or 2, but I was always top 10. So I really enjoyed that. So I also got the backup of having favor now from the teachers. So the students now hated me even more. I didn't get to follow through how they got to have a sit down and then forward me to the principal. So this is second term of Form 2 in still the new school. I mean, second term, you're not still part of the school very well, like conversant with everything they do. Yes, you know the rules and all that, but you're still new to some level. So, Form 2, second term, our principal has gone for a trip. And then, so my classmates, what they did, they wrote a letter. I don't know how many classmates. I don't know who was the lead, because I never got to follow through. But they wrote a letter to the principal telling her that there's a lady in the class who's spoiling the name of the class. I'm making them to fail in class because, I am distracting other students from learning and all that. And I am doing 1, 2, 3 things which they really dislike because it's tarnishing the name of the class. Well, the 1, 2, 3 things, they over-exaggerated everything. Now, because I don't know, when it came to the sexual bit about it, I don't know if they wrote I was having sex toys or something, because they exaggerated the story. But I love the fact that I got favor with the principal, because she didn't get to put it out there what was written, because they wrote a lot of bad things about me. But this particular night, she was to come in and then release us on the following day for our midterm. So now she's back, she gets a note, she calls me to the office at around 9 p.m. That's how late she came in. So she's not even rested from the trip. She was just coming to release us for the midterm, and then now she'll have time, some time to rest and all that. So she calls me and has 3 other ladies in the office. And she tells me, we have a letter from your classmates, and they don't like what you're doing. You're tarnishing their name. You just found them. They were doing okay. They were leading and all that. Right now, they're not leading anymore because they're saying you're the reason. You're doing 1, 2, 3 things, which is really affecting the class. And now the 1, 2, 3 things is where they decided to make sure they amplify the thing. So one of the teachers, I remember she was an English teacher. I don't remember her name, but she was really light-skinned and tall. So she told me, she was now making fun of me. Now, because I'm really short, she was asking me, you, with your height, you're now the man in this relationship. What are you using to give them pleasure? What kind of pleasure are you even giving them? Like, she was so rude. She was making fun of me the whole time. And after, I think, an hour, the principal was done with the other teachers. Because I was open. I was telling them, yeah, I do it. This is how I do it. I write notes. Then the principal was asking me, why do you write notes to other fellow girls and tell them things they'd hear from a boy? Why would you do that? And I'm like, but I just enjoy it. Is it wrong? Like, I just enjoy writing the letter. So I was being genuine, and the principal saw it. So she sent away the other ladies, the lady teachers now, the female teachers who are in the office with her. And we got to talk up until around almost 1 a.m. from 9 p.m. That's when, when you're going for midterm, we never used to have night preps. You just have a free night to prepare yourself, to do cleaning and all that, so that the following morning you get released very early in the morning and leave. So people are not in their classes, they're at the dormitories preparing themselves to leave tomorrow. And then I get to have my time with the principal. after the ladies left, well, not the female teachers, once they stepped out, we now got to have such an intimate moment with the principal. I explained everything to her from where it began, because for me it wasn't something bad. I was like, well, I kissed a girl at, class 3, but we were just trying something that we saw on a movie, and then we got to try again because we missed, just feeling the same feeling, and you didn't know who to feel such, feelings or kind of ways with. You don't know who to express it to. So we decided to kiss again and again, and then now I am in high school. I just find myself liking girls, and then she asked me if I've ever had someone who was in my life who made me feel the same. Then I realized in class 5, when I was at a sister's school, that particular school was a girls' school only. It was a girls' school, basically no boys, but a primary school, which I tend to hear people say it's not good to have primary schools for particular genders. They need to be together. Well, I don't understand that, but well, that's the first place I got to have someone make me fall in love with them, who was a girl. She was in class 8, I was in class 5. But she never used to do anything to me. She was just caring. I remember being told that I'd leave my class during preps time and I want to go and sit next to her locker. And she'd allow that because she was the head girl, So she used to give me some, good attention and make me feel at home and all that. So I think that's the only time I remember feeling that, because at home I didn't have a sister. Apart from my best friend, I didn't have any other female friend who I used to be close to. So, well, I got that favor from my principal, and then the following day she decides to tell me that she won't give me a letter to take home. She wants me to go and explain it to my parents, that I will be home for an extra week after everyone else goes back. Then I go back with them. Like my parents, back to school. They take me back. That was the hardest thing ever. I'd fail in class, but still be able to tell my parents, I'm position 47 out of 50. But this particular one, this one was heavy. So another favor happens. My parents are not around home during that weekend. So they've gone to Shago. They are having some, I think it was a burial. And then I decided to text my mom. So, hi, we are home for the midterm, but I've been told to go back a week later because I am a lesbian, and I have a case to discuss with you together with the principal. So my mom asks me, what does that mean? So I was like, Mom, does it mean you're not understanding me, or do you want me to elaborate what exactly happened? So I didn't respond to that text, and then she immediately calls me and tells me, don't tell your father. I'll come home and we will discuss. I was like, okay. So she comes back. It's on a Saturday night. She doesn't talk to me. Sunday comes. She doesn't talk to me. Monday comes in and I'm like, okay, now there's an issue. Because you can tell when your parent is not happy with you. They won't talk to you. They won't act normally to you. They usually go to, up country, and they'll bring you a lot of, fruits and all the good things from shags and all that. But this particular time, she has nothing for me and she's not telling me anything. So I knew there was an issue. So on Monday at around 6 a.m., she calls me. I used to have a bicycle that I used to ride a lot. I was just a total tomboy. I used to wear shorts and T-shirts and sports shoes or open shoes that men would wear. And then I used to ride a bicycle a lot. And then I had shaved my hair. So I was just a perfect tomboy. So she calls me in the morning. Well, she woke me up, but via phone call, and then tells me to go to her best friend's house. And I was like, okay, let me take a shower and take breakfast because I just woke up. Then she was, specifically at that particular moment, she twisted her tone and now became so tough. And then she was like, no, come as you are. Don't take any tea. I was like, okay, now there's an issue. Let me just go as I am. Immediately ride my bicycle. Within 5 minutes, I was there. So I got to the door. The moment I opened the door, my mom was furious. She wanted to choke me with her hands. I am done with you. I am finishing you today. But the best friend was like, Mama Ann, kindly sit down. You want her to speak? You have to give her time to speak. sit down and listen to her. And then she was just seated there like a mediator. One seat to her left, another seat to her right. That is now me and my mother, and then she's at the center. Then she asks me, talk. Once my mom wants to open her mouth, she's called Mama Blessing. Mama Blessing is like, no. Mama Ann, wait, your turn is coming. Ann, proceed. I loved the session because I was given time to explain myself. Then afterwards, she wanted to beat me so bad. Mama Blessing was like, you just asked her to come and tell us the truth. She's not lied to us. Why would you beat her? Well, I felt supported. And so 1 week went down without them talking to me. We're still in the same house. We now need to go back to school. And they take me back to school. I find a full office of panelists. And then my principal is there. That is, I think, the board. They were having a board meeting. I don't know if it was about me, but well, the fact that they were there, that's all that matters. And then the principal asks my parents to step in, then comes and whispers to me, I want you to tell them just five words of what exactly you told me you do, and then step out. So I was like, okay, 5 words. Okay, I like girls. I tried creating 5 words in my head. I was not getting the perfect 5 words to tell them what exactly is happening. But I stepped in, said whatever I said, and then I stepped out. And within the next 5 minutes, my parents are also out. So I was like, okay, so now what's happening? So the principal comes out, whispers to us and tells us, so now I want to give you guys a location. She paid for me my first therapy ever. She decides to just send me to therapy immediately. We didn't waste time in school. She just gave my parents, because my dad now was driving, she gave my dad the location. I think it was in Juja. Because I just remember we got to Juja and then went and drove in some miles in. So, that's her words were, you're going to find a woman, she's a therapist, I need you guys to talk to her as a family, and I have catered for everything. That was it, and then now return and back to school. Now this is where disaster, started. My life changed completely in high school after I came back from that therapy. Because now I'm back to school, everyone is looking at me like, look at her. Yeah, she's the one. Don't dare talk to her. Then I go to the dormitory, I try fetching water, touch someone's bucket, they pour up water. They don't want to use that water anymore. I use a cup to just fetch water to brush my teeth. If there's anyone around there, they'll just shift. They move away from me. Then I found my box and my stuff in class, they had been stolen. My books were teared, they were torn, and then my spectacles were broken. Then I told my dad to get me another pair of spectacles. That particular day, they came in with a new padlock. The following day, my locker was broken. The padlock as well. My spectacles. I had a new calculator. It was stolen. My textbooks were missing. I had such a rough, part of the rest of my Form 2 and early Form 3. By the time I was getting Form 4, I think I had gotten used to, getting that kind of treatment and all that. So now, this is Form 2 second term, the other half. I don't have a desk mate. My desk mate decided to shift and sit at the back on her own. When the teachers used to ask her, why are you sitting alone? She was like, I can't sit with her. I'd rather sit. You want me next to you? It's okay. I'll come and sit next to the teacher's table, but I'll not sit next to Ann Kivili. No one wants to sit with me. No one wants to share a textbook with me. My textbooks have been stolen. Well, one thing I got to realize is my parents, number one, they never used to have any reaction towards me being sent home and, me being a lesbian. They just gave me cold treatment. They never used to talk to me. They never used to question me. Even when after we went for therapy, I remember that particular day, they were told, oh, they have an issue. They need to talk to their daughter. They need to sit me down and know what the issue is. Because back in the first Form 2 at Kahuhia, I remember writing notes to them and asking them, can you guys just give me some little attention? Because number one, they used to be away all the time. My mom owned a restaurant, a mini, like just a cafe. My dad was always outside the country. My big brother is away for another school, away from us. So I used to be alone with the house help and some of the times my small brother. So at this particular moment, I felt neglected and I used to write notes. And my dad used to question me, like, you're not even acknowledging the fact that you have both parents alive. You're, having school fees. You never lack anything. And then you're here questioning if they are my real parents. But I used to ask that a lot because I don't understand how you can be my parents, but you don't want to listen to me. And the way my mom used to treat me bad, she used to beat me all the time. Any slight mistake, even playing with boys was a mistake to her. This is going to sound bad, but playing with Muslims used to be something really bad to her. They never gave me a particular kind of reaction which I can say, well, definitely they were annoyed, but they never used to show that. They seemed unbothered. Like, I think it's the fact that they didn't know how to react to it in the first place. Because I got to realize now during COVID is when I got to talk to them some bit more and get to understand them. And I think it's the fact that they don't have that knowledge of this particular thing does exist and how to deal with it when you find your kids in it. So they didn't have that knowledge. So they didn't know how to react to it. The only time I remember my father hinting in that story is one particular day we are just having a ride. He's driving his car and he asks me, how is your life going about, then he signals something with his face. And then I'm like, I think he means my life being a lesbian. So I was like, well, it's okay right now. And then he was like, if you ever have any challenges with with boys or anyone just, tries to be cheeky around you, just tell me, let me know. And I was like, okay, that was it. I have never had any conversation in my 28 years with my mom about boys. You see those serious conversations between a daughter and a mother, I've never had them with my mom. So even before then, we had never had such a conversation. So this particular moment, she didn't talk to me about it. She didn't even react. She was just giving me the silent treatment. How I got to cope with it is now I'm in school. I'm back to school. No one wants to talk to me. No one wants to do anything to me. At the dining hall, I find, every time we used to place our plates on the table and then get our bowls with food and come and serve each other. So we used to have an appointed table server. So they'd serve everyone and leave my plate empty. So from breakfast to dinner, I never used to eat. So most of the time, I remember I used to find myself at the canteen. Luckily, we used to have one. So I used to go get some buns and I'd eat that in class. Then I used to have a flute, a descant recorder. So I used to play flute in class a lot, just do music. And then sometimes I got now to become spiritual. So I got to find my place with God. So anytime people are going to eat, I was just fasting. So we used to have a prayer station behind our library. So I'd go there. I remember we used to have particular corners, very good corners that you can just hide and pray. So I used to go there and cry to God and cry to God. Then after the bell rings, I go back to class. So at this particular moment, I remember, I don't know, I think my mom asked for me to be spied on, and then she realized I was not eating. But not the issue was they didn't ask me why I'm not eating. I also had a toothache issue. So I was like, let me just sort myself out. After all, I can't tell my parents to pay for me, special diet. I can't tell them I'm being, I'm missing my food and all that. I can't report it to anyone. So I used to stick by myself and just survive like that. So I got to develop ulcers so much. And this time my mom came to school and she beat me so much, like, to an extent. There was a particular meeting that was happening in our not dining hall. We used to have at this particular hall where we used to go for CU, CA, and all that. So there was a meeting happening there. And I remember one of the people who are vending books came to talk to my mama, and she was like, Mama, Vita shule achia mwalimu. yako peleka nyumbani, because she was beating me openly, and we are outside an office. We were waiting for the deputy to come. And Mandy, she was beating me because I'm not eating, without listening to me why I'm not eating. So I felt hated. And I was like, the only person I'm going to talk to, I think, is God. Because now apparently I can't talk to my classmates, I can't talk to my parents. And the fact that I had not developed a close relationship with my big brother. So I didn't have anyone to talk to. But, well, I got a lot of favor again, because once you're out for a suspension in that particular school, you couldn't, participate in the co-curricular activities. But now my principal allowed me. In fact, I was in charge of music. And then this particular moment, I was given 2 dances. I was doing Luo dance and Baganda dance. And I was told to do auditions. And Form 2s, now we're in Form 3. Form 3s want to be, the ones leading in these things and all that, especially Baganda, because they're going to shake their bodies and, the bodies are just developing and all that. And I'm told to audition. I didn't have any Form 3 in my Baganda dance. I only had Form 1s and Form 2s because, you guys you just want to join because of other reasons, but you're not doing it correctly, according to me. So I decided to have Form 1s and Form 2s only. And for the first time, we got to the nationals competing against Mary Hill, which was being trained by my music teacher in Kahuhia. Now, the music teacher who was teaching me in Kahuhia, we did the same Luo dance. And then now, Baganda dance, it was different. But the fact that I was competing against my teacher, without a trainer. I was the trainer. We were using my teacher's phone, our English teacher's phone, to Google Baganda dance. Let me just look at the styles, because they had the Baganda dance in the previous years, but they didn't have particular exciting styles. For me, I'm a dancer, so I like it when we do it in a particular way. And I'm also a perfectionist, so I made sure we are doing it correctly. And that's how we got to the nationals for the first time without a trainer. So I was like, yo guys, so what are you saying? You guys want to hate on me? God keeps on elevating me. We go to, for Red Cross walks and all that. All this while people are asking, why is she going for activities? She's not supposed to be going. Like she just came from having a suspension. So I think that boosted my confidence, knowing that the principal and the teachers were on my side. So even when the students used to mistreat me and all that, I knew I had a backup, which was the teachers. To some level, I remember in Form 4, I was asked to become a spy and give them a list of lesbians who are now in Form 2. Definitely I did not snitch on them. I was like, I can't find them. I can't. Because now, I think they thought because I am so close to them, I was going to now start snitching on people. But I used to enjoy I enjoyed my Form 4. And I remember that's how I got to top. I think I was in the second or... Where was I in the second room, out of 5 rooms, and the 5th one was 100 plus packed students. That is during the index numbers. So I was, I think, index number 42 out of 200, and so I was like, you guys thought you were going to affect my studies and all that, but I did so well. Even after I was done with Form 4, I remember being called back again to train Baganda dance, and I was like, favor following me even after I am done with the school. Out here, I got to test the waters. I became a real lesbian now, but then I got tired and decided to calm down and come back to Jesus fully now. Yes.
Catch more African stories in the next episode of Legally Clueless. That's Anne's story, and wow, what a journey. First and foremost, considering our cultural or socio-cultural context, I just have to say a big thank you to Anne for sharing her story with us, right? And listening to her story made me reflect deeply on how much shame and silence we still attach to conversations around identity, especially when we look at like boarding schools or the average school system in Kenya, and I'm very sure in other parts of our continent. And you can just feel the lack of understanding from teachers, from classmates, and even parents who just pushed her further into isolation. But I think I also took away that even in that darkness, She found a sense of resilience. Even when she was talking about dance and how she lit up, you could hear her talking about that. But it also reminds us like the journey to finding identity is not always going to be acceptable to others, but you still have to go on that journey no matter what the end result is. I must stress that because in Anne's situation, she's found comfort and solace in religion. That's not the case for very many people, and that's okay. I really want to stress that there should be no shame towards any community, especially vulnerable communities that are already facing shame. One thing I love about the work that we do here and my experience with it is that I have recorded so many African stories, some whose truths are so different from mine, but that process of recording those stories has expanded me to the point where my truth can sit very comfortable or comfortably across your truth, and there doesn't need to be shame. That's one thing I really accredit the work that I've done as part of this family that's Legally Clueless Africa. It's really, really expanded me. And I hope from Anne's story, you don't take any shame. There's no shame to be taken. I hope you take away the power of self-acceptance and the power of finding peace with who you are, even when the world refuses to understand you. Now, I want to hear your thoughts on Anne's story. Drop the comments wherever it is that you're listening to this on. And if you want to share your story, make sure that you sign up in our storyteller form. A link to it is in the show notes. Make sure you stay connected with our community. Really join the family by signing up for a newsletter on our website and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We're at Legally Clueless Africa, but they're all linked in the show notes. And until next time, remember, I truly appreciate you. And I really think that you have every single thing it takes to heal. That's it for this episode of Legally Clueless. You can share this podcast with your friends. You can keep it for yourself. I'm not judging. Just make sure you're here next week for the next episode.